still got up. I still persisted. I still had that something in me to keep moving forward. And as entrepreneurs and leaders and founders, that's what we have. It's something within us that keeps us moving, regardless of what's going on around us. The thing about it is, what I've learned over the years is that the subconscious mind itself actually loves learning. When we're born, we start to take on these beliefs, these values, and all these things that make us who we are. See, because now if you learn something and now you have grown, you've let go of all the things that no longer serve you, guess what happens? Automatically, you're going to start to expand. Transforming is the integration of becoming the version of you that was always there. Growth isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more aligned. Every success story has a chapter that most people never hear. The one between the breakdown and the breakthrough. Welcome to the LGET Mindset Podcast, learning, growing, expanding, and transforming. Where we talk about those hidden chapters, the failures and the lessons and the breakthroughs that make success real. I'm Curtis McCullom, certified clinical hypnotherapist, the CEO of Bespoke Human Potential Coaching and founder, and I'm also the creator of the L.G.E.T Mindset Framework. Welcome to the show. Today, we're going to be talking about the core of this system because growth isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more aligned. Many years ago, I asked this question, the why. Why is it? Why is this important? Why is that so many high achievers feel like they are running on a treadmill that never stops? Have you ever felt that way? Well, I know I have. I can say that for myself. And for years, guys, I've helped others perform. I've helped others grow. I've helped others achieve. But deep down, I could feel that something was a little off within me. I felt that dissonance, that feeling, that eerie feeling that between the results that I showed, the results that I showed the world and the alignment I felt inside. Now, just like most entrepreneurs, founders, and leaders, I've had my fair share of setbacks. I've had my fair share of heartbreaks. I've had my fair share of failures. And there was a time in my life I can remember. I had just became number one in the world. I was doing extremely well. Someone recruited me to another company, and I started working for that company, and it was an utter failure. And during that time, I felt that everything that I attempted to do turned into a huge failure. I mean, everything I touched, it's like the Midas touch, everything you touch turns to gold. Well, for me, everything I touched turned to, you know what? It's like, oh my God, what's actually happening? And I even had a feeling that, I knew it wasn't true, but I felt like I was cursed or something because I don't know what was happening in my life. Everything that I touched just didn't work out. It just wasn't working. But this is one thing that I did do, even in the midst of that, even in the midst of my trials, even in the midst of my tribulations, even in the midst of my storms. I've always stayed persistent, regardless of what happened, regardless of what happened the day before, regardless of what happened in my life that day, regardless of what was happening around me. I still got up the next morning and tried again. Even in the midst of my lowest moments as an entrepreneur, selling adjustable beds, yanking people's sheets off their beds, I still got up. I still persisted. I still had that something in me to keep moving forward. And as entrepreneurs and leaders and founders, that's what we have. It's something within us that keeps us moving, regardless of what's going on around us. We're still moving, right? And so, but one thing I've always been about life, I've been curious. Not only about life. I mean, at a point, man, I was really curious about death too. I mean, but what's really interesting, you have life, which is a great significant event in our lives, and then we have death, which is another significant event in our lives. But what goes on in between? I know my dad, who was a pastor, used to say the dash between, the dash between the dates, right? You have a birth date and a death date, and what happens with the dash? What are you going to do with the dash that's between? And I always was curious about that. I was curious about what happens between those two significant dates. What happens during this dash between? I used to ask God. Yeah, I call it God. That's my take label for it. You may call it universe, you may call it source, whatever you call it, it's okay. We're not going to get caught up on names. But I used to ask God that what is this life's journey all about? What is it actually about? And for years, I asked that question. And when I was getting my certification in hypnotherapy, one of the books that they said that we suggested that we should read was a book called Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brown Weiss. I didn't read it then. I didn't read the book. I thought about it, I saw it, but I didn't read it. And then when I was going to an appointment, this lady who did not know, and I told her what I did. I said, yeah, I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist. She says, wow, Curtis, you got to read this book. You must read this book by Dr. Brian Rice, and Many Lives, Many Masters. Oh, okay, yeah. Then I went back again for another appointment. She says, did you read it? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Did you read the book, Many Lives, Many Masters? I said, no, I didn't read it. Well, long story short is that I went to Vegas to visit one of my friends. He was coming out from Arkansas, Coach Kev. Give a shout out to Coach Kev as one of my really, really good friends. And the first thing he talked about was life between lives and in this type of information. And that's when that book popped up again. Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss. And I read that book. And when I was reading the book, a light bulb came on. Have you had one of those moments where you can just see and sense the light bulb just like pop on and like, wow, that's it. That's what it's all about. That's when I realized that life fundamentally is about learning lessons. And the thing about it is what I've learned over the years is that the subconscious mind itself actually loves learnings. It loves learning because this is the thing about learnings, guys, is that because when you learn something, that awareness, it uses that awareness to allow you to release these old emotions. It release these negative emotions and these limited beliefs. And that's kind of exactly where legit came from. So you think about the book, I read the book, then was kind of led to read the book, and I had to read the book. And then I learned that in the book that this life is all about lessons. And then I understand the subconscious mind, that the subconscious mind loves learnings. And when I know that a person learns something, part of what I help individuals do is figure out what is they need to learn from it. Because once they learn it, it seems like it loosens the grip of that negative emotion of sadness, guilt, anger, whatever it is. And another thing was that even in a biblical sense, or a biblical principle, he says, confess your faults one to another that you may be healed. So when you confess, when you acknowledge, when you get some learning from it, it starts to release this negative energy. So that's exactly where legit mindset came from. The learning, it was born there. The learning, the growing, the transforming, that framework of transformation, that that lessons, that what it does is that framework was built to turn life's lessons into lasting transformation. Isn't that great? So you take these lessons and turn them to transformation, because I always believe that a failure or setback or heartbreak is not, it's just an opportunity for us to learn. It's an opportunity to give us feedback. I remember when we went on vacation, me and my wife, and I was for my 60th birthday, and everything was happening wrong when we got there. I mean, the room wasn't right. Just everything that could happen. did happen, and my wife was livid because she's like, "Hey, I want to really want my husband to have this special date. I want to have this special moment here," and it wasn't working. But what we found out was that the setback that we was experiencing at the beginning of the vacation was actually a set up to what was to come. I mean, from that point on, everything they gave us, they comped us a lot of things. They gave us a lot more attention. They did all the stuff that we wanted and loved. But if we didn't have that setback, we probably wouldn't have that same experience. So sometimes when we're going through something, it's not a setback, it's a set up. So what you're going to get later. So think about that too. So now let's take a look at this. So what is it? The framework itself, right? We have a framework of learning, growing, expanding, and transforming. That's the legit mindset. So in its four phases, there's four stages to this journey of integration. The first one is learning. Learning is awareness. We've been talking about that already. Think about learning is this. It's the awareness. It's kind of seeing those invisible patterns and scripts that have been running in our lives without your permission. What does that mean? What does that mean is this, is that when we're born, we start to take on these beliefs, these values, and all these things that make us who we are. Some of the things we have no idea, because some of the values, some of the beliefs, and some of the things that we've learned is not from us, it's from our parents, it's from our neighbors, it's from our church, it's from all the things that we experience, the stuff that we read, the stuff that we watch on television. All of that stuff makes us who we are. And then it start running apps. It's like a program in the back of our subconscious mind. And because it is running, most of the time we have no idea that these programs are running. I mean, these old life programs that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not this, I'm not that, or I believe this, I believe that, or this is valuable to me and this is not. All of these things, sometimes we don't even know where it came from, but it's like continuing to run in the background. So one of the first things we need to realize in the learning phase is seeing these invisible patterns, these scripts, these apps that are running, these programs that are running our lives that we have no idea that's running. Sometimes we want to move forward and we can't move forward because of the fact that these programs are still running. So now the next phase is actually growing. What I try to do with my clients is the growing phase is releasing this resistance, releasing all the baggage, releasing all those things that no longer serve us. Think about you're carrying this bag, right? You're carrying this big black bag with all of this junk in it, all of these old beliefs, all these old values, all of these old things that are actually carrying you down, weighing you down, that no longer serves you. But what if you release that and allow yourself to actually grow from it, releasing those old resistance, allowing the discomfort of growth to refine who you are today. You let go of those old ways of being. Look how much lighter you'll be if you allow yourself to do that. And that is the learning. You have the learning phase of the awareness. You have the growing phase of letting go of these things that no longer serve you. Then expanding. See, because now if you learn something, and now you have grown, you've let go of all the things that no longer serve you. Guess what happens? Automatically, you're going to start to expand. You can expand. You can see because you can't feel, you can't be filled until you get rid of some stuff. Think about if your life was a jar. Your life was a jar, and you got all this baggage, all these things that no longer serve you, and you're already full. So in order to be refilled, in order to expand, you got to get rid of some things. You have to take the soil. I mean, if this was a planting, we were talking about planting, you have to till the soil, get rid of all the weeds, get rid of all the stuff that no longer serves the soil in order for you. Now you can expand, you can grow, you can expand something new. And that's where expanding is. It's this new perspective of rewiring how you think and you feel. And you take on a broader view of things and what's truly possible. Look how fantastic that would be if now you look at life totally different. How can you look at life different? Because number one, you got the awareness, and number two, you've let go of the stuff that no longer serves you. Now you'll be able to expand. You're able to fill yourself with something that can drive new possibilities. And that's what it's all about. Then transforming. Transforming Transforming is the integration of becoming the version of you that was always there. This is the version of you operating from an alignment instead of effort. Man, I truly believe that we have all the things within us to become, we have all the resources within us to become the best version of ourselves. Let's pause for a quick break here. This episode is brought to you by Bespoke Human Potential Coaching. Guys, a lot of us are hurting out there. And if you're a CEO or a founder or an entrepreneur, just a person, a layperson out there who has achieved surface, on the surface, you have some success, but you still feel like this discomfort, that something is going on inside, but you just can't put your finger on it, it's time to stop it. Stop performing and start transforming. Go ahead to my website. We can help you identify those invisible patterns that's blocking your growth. We can do that so you can operate from true alignment. Go to my site, Bespoke Human Potential Coaching, or curtismccullum.com. At the corner on the right hand side, it says click that button, a free 15-minute clarity call. Let's talk. You'll talk to me personally, and let's see how we can make your next breakthrough legit. Back to the show, guys. So now, so how do we do this? How do we apply this? How do we apply it? How do we begin to live a legit lifestyle today? Number one is spot the script. Identify one recurring frustration. Just one, not a lot, guys. Just start with one. So one of the things you want to do, number one, is you want to spot the script. Identify one recurring frustration today. Is it a business roadblock? Is it a relationship roadblock? Is it an old feeling or emotion or old script that's running now, or an old script? So what first of all you want to do is identify that script. The one thing, that one recurring frustration. Next, what you want is to lean into that feeling, that friction that you're feeling. Instead of pushing away from it, lean into it. And then when you feel that resistance, don't push it back. Don't push it away. Just ask yourself the question, what is this discomfort trying to refine me? What is this lesson is trying to learn? What I need to learn from this? What discomfort is trying to refine me? What is it trying to give me? Because every time we feel discomfort, it wants to teach us a lesson. And this is where the growth comes in at, is now you learning this lesson. Number three is to shift. How? Instead of asking, how do I do more? Ask this question instead. How would the version of me who is already successful handle this? So think about your internal resources can come into play here. How would your best version of yourself handle this problem today? And then number four is check your alignment end of your day by asking if your actions came from a place of effort or did it come from a place of alignment? Effort is using a lot of unnecessary energy. Alignment is a way where you just in flow. Everything is happening. You're not pushing, but things are happening much smoother. And that's the last question you want to ask. So, what if? What if you actually operated this way? You find that legit success isn't about a polished win. It's about a leader who's faced with the messy middle and grown from it. What if? It doesn't have to be a pretty win, but you get how you can actually learn from it. And if you can move through these four phases, these four stages, then the dissonance, the feeling, the discomfort disappears. You basically become the version of yourself that was always there. Like I said before, I truly believe that we have everything in life that we want to do. We have all the resources in life to become the best version of ourselves. If you've ever felt like you should have it all together, but something still feels off, guys, you're in the right place. You are in the right place. Take a moment this week and ask yourself this: where in my life am I performing instead of transforming? Because that awareness, that's where real change begins. Ready to move from performing to transforming? Visit Bespoke Human Potential Coaching today to book your free 15-minute clarity call. Let's uncover what's truly holding you back. If this message resonates with you, follow and share it with someone who's in their own breakthrough season. This is the Legit Mindset Podcast. Failures, lessons, and breakthroughs. Real stories, real setbacks, and real growth. I'm Curtis McCullom. Make it a great day.